Hello, and welcome to the Therapy Office Private Office Options webinar. And I am so excited to chat with you guys about all the different options that we have available and walk you through that. So let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, welcome to the Therapy Office. I really wanted to create this presentation because I have had a lot of people that have been reaching out to me about these different options that I have available when it comes to the private full time offices and who it's designed for and how it might be different than co-working or the flexible office space. I wanted to just walk that through and give you guys a different face-to-face type kind of presentation. So let's go ahead and walk through that. My name is Becca Ferguson. I am the owner and founder of the therapy office here in Springdale, Arkansas, which is better known as Northwest Arkansas. I am extremely passionate about sustainable business growth for therapists and helpers and healers in the wellness profession. I am also a licensed professional counselor, and then what you see is what you get. I am a real life human being. That's just who I am. I'm very authentic in every single way through and through. So I hope that by the end of this presentation that you see that in all of this and everything that I say. So let's get to what we're going to talk about today. The first thing we're going to go through why this space exists in the first place, why I have created the therapy office and these private offices in the first place, the details of the private offices and prices, what's included, all of that, and then some common questions and answers that I get from different people about the private offices. Let's go ahead and go into why this space exists. And if you haven't caught on, I'm a huge fan of The Office, which is literally the brand of this whole entire everything, by the way. So let's talk about the private offices and why they exist in the first place. First of all, flexible office options, part time offices, those can work really well. I offer that option also inside of my office. But eventually, there might be some people that want something that's a little bit more permanent, like a place to call home without the risk of signing their own commercial lease. Subletting a private office that it can provide helpers with that consistency for themselves and for their clients, like saying like, hey, this is my home base, this is where I'm at, and it helps with a consistent location, having that place that reflects their practice, saying like, "Hey, this is me and this is my brand." And you're not having to set up and tear down every single time you go to an office. You just know, "Hey, this is the key to my door. This is where I'm at." And it's very on brand for you. So, here at the therapy office, I wanted to create something that was more than just an office. One of the things I hear the most often from providers is that they want the benefits of having their own office, and then there's the responsibility of managing an entire building. We don't talk about this stuff in grad school. And it's something that I will say firsthand when I became a solo therapist that I did not know everything that came with managing a building inside of my private practice. So it was just like mind blowing, honestly. So, with a private office, you will get that dedicated professional space that's yours to use and personalize. Well, the therapy office handles all the things like operating a building, the common area maintenance, the utilities, the internet, the security, and all the shared amenities. So, that goal is to give providers a stable home base so they can focus on serving clients and growing their business. You're getting that consistency that you need and that space where your clients can show up and be like, hey, I feel like I can breathe, but you can also breathe too. And then your brand is inside of your office. And you don't have to think about, is the toilet running or did I replace the toilet paper? Because that is something that the therapy office takes care of for you. There's a reason why I built a community and not just a therapy office. When I first opened the therapy office, it was primarily just focused on therapists. Over time, I realized something important, that health doesn't just come from mental health. Obviously, this was something that I knew, but then it's like over time, working with my clients, I wanted to have that space become a place inside of the building as well. I knew that people often needed support from multiple professionals throughout different seasons of their lives as they worked with a therapist. They also needed help with a dietitian or a medication management provider or a coach or another helping professional. And I wanted to create that space where that could happen, where providers could work alongside people who share similar values around compassion, professionalism, inclusion, and respect. And the goal was never to create a building full of businesses that happen to share an address. The goal was to create a community, something where it was inclusive and all of these people could come together and be able to learn from each other. So it didn't seem like we were separating each other and not like I just wanted us to be able to learn from each other. I thought that would be fun. So it's just the ability. I just like learning. So let's talk about who this is designed for. So there are a lot of different providers who reach out about private offices that aren't necessarily looking just for more space. They're looking for stability. And at some point, there are many business owners that stop asking, can I make a private practice work? And start asking, how do I create something that's sustainable long term? So let's talk about who this would be designed for. So you might be looking for a private office if you're ready to stop building your practice around borrowed space. If you want a professional environment that reflects who you are as a provider. If you want clients to feel confident walking into a space that feels established. If you want a professional home base without managing an entire building. You're thinking long term instead of month to month. You're looking for consistency, not constant change, and you're ready to put down roots inside your business. When we have a conversation, my biggest goal for you as a provider is to have honest conversations with you. I am a therapist first, not a salesperson. So I'm not here to have signed contracts with people that are here making urgent decisions. I can tell they're not ready for something. I'm here to walk you through the step that's most sustainable for you long term. And I want to help you through that process. Culture is really important inside of the therapy office. And because this is a shared professional building, it matters the most. One of the reasons why I intentionally expanded beyond therapists is because I believe, again, learning from each other really matters. So every provider brings a different perspective, a different skill set, and a way of helping people. So the goal was to never create a building that was just isolated businesses working behind closed doors. I mean, obviously, HIPAA, we have to close our doors sometimes, but the goal was to create a community of professionals who can support each other, share ideas, collaborate when it's appropriate, and learn from the different ways people help each other grow and heal. We're all here to serve people in different ways, but we're working towards many of the same goals. And that's why we prioritize respect and professionalism, inclusion. We're creating an environment where both providers and clients feel welcome. And at the end of the day, the therapy office is more than just a place to rent space. It's a community of people building meaningful work alongside each other. I truly do believe that and feel that inside my bones. The reason why I chose this as a brand for my office when it comes to the office is just because as much as they are just the misfits of all misfits, they really do accept each other the way that they are most of the time. I think that that makes the beauty of that show. It's just like a cultural icon of a show. I do think that that captures the vibe of this space, like the vibe of a whole generation, honestly, most of the time. All right, so let's get into the details of the private office options. So there are two main options for leases when it comes to the private office. So you can do a 12-month lease and a 6-month lease. So the 12-month lease is best for providers that are wanting a long-term office and they want the lowest monthly rate available. The 6-month lease gives providers a little bit more flexibility if they're still testing what a permanent office looks like for their business. Both options include the same office amenities, the building access, and the benefits. The primary difference is the lease term and the monthly cost. So I did do different rates for these different leases just for the simple reason that turnover, finding people to take over a space and everything, it's more work, obviously, for me. But with that, I try and still make it as accessible as possible. So again, we have the two different prices here. So pricing is intentionally structured to support providers wanting long-term stability while still keeping the office accessible and straightforward. So the goal is to provide the structure of a professional office building without making providers manage an entire building themselves. So the 12-month lease is $650 a month and the 6-month lease is $725 a month. And then the security deposit is equal to 1 month's rent. Security deposit that is due at the signing of the lease, and then it's returned after the final inspection at move out. These prices are pretty fair for the market value and what you're getting for the amenities. The utilities are included, you're not having to pay for anything out of pocket. That also includes the internet, a security system. One of the main perks of the security system is that you do get an individual panic button inside of your office. And for those that are working inside of healthcare, this is something that I truly do care about as a healthcare professional. It's keeping you safe. Having that sense of security, even if it's something that we do not use ever in our whole entire lifetime, it's important to have inside of our space, and I'm happy to provide it. We also have office key, a security code, and you have the 24/7 building access. So, insurance, if you are billing insurance, you have to have files locked behind two locks. We have our security code that is like our alarm system. And then you will have a key for your individual office. And if you have a file cabinet or something that you bring, then you're more than welcome to do that as well. You also have access to the shared waiting room, a shared mini fridge, and microwave access. You have two ADA bathrooms that are available, and they are huge ADA bathrooms. Inside of each bathroom, there's so much stuff that I stock it with because I also like to have accessible amenities for all of the clients, things like tampons, pads, condoms, drug tests, pregnancy tests, first aid kits, colognes, perfume, things of that nature. So I try and keep all of that accessible as well. And then you also get the address use for credentialing and marketing. And all of these things are on an interactive pricing sheet as well on the website. Let's go ahead and take this through the lease of before you sign and after you sign so you know what to expect. I really do want the move in process to feel straightforward and transparent. So, to get started, you're going to submit an interest form. You can tour the available offices, you can ask questions, you can make sure the space is the right fit for your business. And then once you're ready to move forward, I'm going to send you an information form so I can create and send your lease and your first invoice. So after your lease has been signed and your initial payment has been released or been received, excuse me, then you'll officially enter into the onboarding phase. So your access will begin on your lease start date. So this is where we have the on the after you sign that is like your office access, keys, helpers hub access, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Any signage, move in, business address usage, they're all going to begin on your lease start date. So we'll schedule a time for us to get together on your start date for your onboarding so you can start using that. And then on your lease start date, you're going to get all of those things for onboarding and access to the Helpers Hub, your welcome letter, and you can begin to update everything for directories, business records, credentialing if you choose to, and begin moving in furniture, and you can start seeing your clients in your new space. So I talked a little bit about the Helpers Hub. This is a password protected space on our website that just has all the onboarding information, office policies, mail dates, pickup information, forms, resources, office updates. I truly believe that we have enough information in our brain that we have to hold on to all the time. There is no reason whatsoever that we should have to maintain more information or dig through old emails to remember stuff. So I've put it all on a page on the website. And that's one of the places that you'll get access to at the beginning of your lease. So there are benefits beyond the office that you will get whenever you have a full-time lease. So one of the benefits of being part of the therapy office ecosystem is that you'll have access to additional resources and opportunities and support to your business as it evolves. So the private office holders will receive discounted group room pricing and a standing 30% discount on resources and trainings and access to recommended business tools that I've personally used inside of my own business. And then you also will get all the affiliate discounts and things like that whenever I get updates like that. So my goal has always been to create more than just an office space. I really do want providers to have access to practical resources that help them build a sustainable business. So anything that I have that's a resource, I 100% will pass it along to anybody that's inside of this office. So if you have a business that evolves, then it's really here for me to grow alongside with you. So there isn't just one path that's the right path for anybody after moving into a private office. Some providers may maintain a small practice for years and enjoy that consistency, and others can expand their caseload and they can start offering groups, supervise new clinicians, or build additional services over time. The goal isn't pressure, it's creating room for providers to grow into what fits best for them. And that's my goal for you guys as well. So now let's go into our questions and answers. And here we are. These are questions that I often get inside of my inbox. And no, people don't often ask me which bear is best. But if I had to ask, it's always the black bear. So, do I manage my own business? When you are a part of the therapy office and you're renting a full time office, yes, you are not inside of a group practice. I'm not doing your insurance billing or anything of that nature. So, you are 100% your own business. The therapy office provides you the office space, the shared amenities, and the community, but you continue to operate your own independent business. That means that you're responsible for managing your own clients, the scheduling, the documentation, the billing, credentialing, marketing, and business decisions. Many providers appreciate that structure because it gives them the freedom to run their own business the way that they choose while still benefiting from that professional environment, supportive community. But it's really important to just know we're not a group practice, we're not an employer, we're not a management company. It's a professional space designed for independent business owners. So, what happens if there isn't an office available right now? Well, That's okay. But there are offices available right now at the time of recording this, which is the beginning of June. However, if there is not an office available at the time of you watching that, that's okay. A private office is a significant commitment and it's not always the right fit for anyone. So if you are still wanting to be a part of the therapy office and you're looking for ways to start, you can always start with a virtual lease while you're getting credentialed or building a caseload or working primarily from home. You can also look at our flexible office options to test office based work. I'm a therapist before being a salesperson. I'm not really even a salesperson, honestly. I built this because I saw a need for it and I have ADHD, so that's what I do. And so I know that these are things that people need, obviously, but I am here for people in all spaces and places, and I would love to explore what option is most suitable for you. Well, I also see what's available at our space. Can a group practice or company rent one office for multiple providers? No. The private office model and really all the models at the therapy office are intentionally designed for solo providers and independent business owners. I had multiple conversations with people that have reached out about group practices, renting offices, one office for multiple providers, and I understand the need for that. However, if I have multiple people coming into one office, I could not come up with a fair pricing model. It's just not fair for one provider who's paying the same price as a group practice that is having 15 providers or 10 providers that's using an office. This is only available for solo and independent businesses. As much as I love to support group practice owners in my coaching business and help you explore all those options. Unfortunately, the therapy office is not a space where I can do that with my office rentals. Can I use the address for credentialing and marketing? Yes, 100%. So if you are using if you have the full-time office, then 100% the private office holders get to use the office address for insurance credentialing, all the professional directories, websites, marketing materials, business registrations, all the other professional purposes related to their business because you have a dedicated office space within the building. So, address use is included with a part of that lease. If you also have the full-time office, and this is exclusive to the private offices only, there's no other lease that this is permitted for because it's exclusive to the full-time office. You get the ability to use it for Google My Business. So if that is something that you're interested in, then we can do that. What kind of environment does the therapy office support? Again, very important question. This goes back to culture. So, the therapy office is a values driven and adult focused professional community. So, we're intentionally working to create an environment where providers and clients from all backgrounds feel welcome and respected and safe. So, this is going to include the LGBTQIA plus individuals, BIPOC communities, women, marginalized genders, survivors of trauma, religious harm, individuals that are navigating poverty, and individuals with criminal histories. So, our biggest thing is that people that come into our office, we really do expect providers to treat one another with professional attitudes and maintain appropriate boundaries, respect confidentiality, contribute positively to the community. So I don't want anybody that's coming in to discriminate or harass or have any exclusionary behavior or conduct that's undermining the safety or well-being of any clients or any other providers that are inside of the office or even outside of the office. I find that's really important, me as the founder of the office, but also just as an ethical therapist in the first place. If that's something that you want to have a conversation about, then I would love to do that. What do I need before I sign? Love this question. So, at a minimum, you're just going to need professional liability insurance and a business structure that supports the work that you're going to do. So, if you're still working through decisions about any LLCs or PLLCs or credentialing or other setup questions, we can definitely discuss that during the leasing process, which leads me to my last question. And that's, what if I need help setting up my business? And that is something that I absolutely love helping with. I get honestly a little nerdy with it, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I know how overwhelming the business side of private practice can feel, especially when you're trying to build something slowly and sustainably, which is what I'm a huge advocate for. So, creating this space has always been more than just office rentals for me. It's about helping providers feel supported while they figure out what works for them. So, if you need additional support, I also offer educational resources and templates, trainings, and business coaching through my other business, which is Authentic Coaching. And then I have a free guide called Make It Make Sense, which walks you through step by step on everything that you need to start a business. You can use this guide whether or not you are just now starting, or if you need something for auditing where you're at. All right. Phew, we made it to the end. So, if you are interested in learning more, you can join in on a group tour. You can explore the available offices. You can ask questions about the space. You can find what fits for your business. I really do try to make this a space that allows providers to grow intentionally, sustainably, and at their own space. If you're curious about whether or not a private office is the right fit for you, I'd love to help you explore all the options and answer any questions and help you determine whether or not this is the right step for you. So feel free to reach out. You can do so by filling out the interest form on our website. It's also in the link in this description of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will chat with you guys soon.